Welcome back to Fonti International. As you can see, stocks are retreating from their all-time high. So far, S&P 500 is down by 0.15%, Dow as well 0.14% in red, Nasdaq Composite 0.5% in the red territory. And this is, of course, because Reuters reported that US-China trade deal signing could be delayed until December. So we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but first of all, very quick look at the major headlines. Stocks are retreating from all-time record highs after Reuters reported US-China trade deal signing could be delayed until December as discussions over terms and venue continue. The IMF urges Europe to prepare an emergency plan to be used in case of a new economic slowdown. According to Washington, a new downturn of the older continent is now more likely. SoftBank said it's lost at least $4.7 billion on U.S. office sharing company WeWork, and investment chief executive Masayoshi Son called an error in judgment. Xerox is considering making a cash and stock bid for HP, currently valued $27 billion. The takeover would merge two fading stars of technology. Societe Generale reported third-quarter net income of 854 million euros, down 34.8% year-to-date. The results still beat expectations. The stock soared 5% on the CAC 40, as we can see a little bit of disappointing earnings results for the European giants. First of all, let me get back to the US indices. So far, I was saying that they were trading lower, and I just want to have a little bit of more details. A meeting between US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping to sign a long-awaited interim trade deal could be delayed until December as discussions continue over terms and venue. This is what a senior official of the Trump administration told Reuters a little bit earlier today. That had an immediate impact on the US indices. Before we go ahead, let me bring to the show my next guest this evening, Sante Pellegrino, CEO of SantePTrader.com. Good evening and thank you for joining us.
Good evening to you, and good evening to all our trader view.
Sante, I wanted to start with the US indices. Are they so sensitive on trade news?
Yes, I think at this top of the market, a news it's more important to create a volatility in the market. S&P and the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones are on top of the market, and this is the highest of highest in the last years. And for this, volatility is more expensive, is more in expansion, and all news are a good indication to create a sensibility on index, on USA index.
So, which are the new maximum levels for S&P 500 after what we saw, like 3,082 points is incredible figure?
Yes, it's an incredible figure, but if you remember, we talk about the next top of the market. It's about 3,100 points, and I think we are nearly at that top. And I think it's the highest that S&P index can do. I think now it's a good moment to create a mean reverse pattern and go down to create a dip opportunity, a buy opportunity on dip.
That's extremely interesting. On the other side, one of the major stories today is certainly what Masayoshi Son said a little bit earlier today. He certainly said my investment judgment was poor in many ways, and I'm reflecting deeply on that. Son told on a news conference after reporting the SoftBank earnings results, and of course he was referring to WeWork. We know that WeWork was supposed to be public already, actually, but of course the IPO flopped a few months ago. Sante, I was wondering, what is your opinion on the tech unicorns? I'm talking about, let's say, WeWork. We can also include Uber, Lyft, Slack, Zoom, all those companies that are getting public, that they have a lot of interest, but no profits.
Okay, unicorn fintech segment of market, it's interesting, but not in the early futures. I think it's necessary to create a good history on this market segment. Unicorn fintech is like a dot-com period at the first time in 2000 year. And I think the unicorn fintech can do a curriculum, and only in the futures we can have a growth, or we can have a rich utility, a rich dividend by this kind of firms. It's more early to create a growth and to create a good approach and the dividend from this firm.
For instance, let me just point out for our viewers that yesterday the Uber CEO said that they expect the first profit to come in 2021. Do you believe him?
I believe him because it's possible. It's more early to have results in the unicorn fintech. It's a baby segment of market.
So you're overall you're bullish on the tech unicorns like Uber or Lyft.
Okay, I'm not really bullish on unicorn fintech because I think it's more early to invest in this segment. Only a philanthropy man or investment company can invest in this sector because it's really early to invest in this sector. I repeat, unicorn fintech and Uber and also other new company on the new fintech segment, it's really small, it's really baby in this moment. That it's a not good period to invest in this company. I think it's more important to invest in a good company that have history and capitalization and patrimonialization. And in 2021, it's good to invest in that trading segment because in that period, this segment can have an history.
All right, that's very interesting because now many people are kind of angry with those tech unicorns because they're investing money, but at the same time the companies are not generating profits, which is a little bit of warning. But let's go to the another company that I would like to talk about, and certainly this is HP and Xerox, because of course Xerox is bidding $27 billion in order to acquire HP. You've been very bullish on HP. Previously you said that certainly it's a stocks to watch. What do you think about this story?
But I think HP at this moment can create a good segment of personal computer company and can create a great opportunity on the market because HP stocks are go up on the first, second and third resistance and can go at $24.15 for stocks. This is a good uptrend, but it's more important to stay to pay attention at these stocks because if the stocks can go down and can go down after go down on the support. The support is on 19 and $70 for stocks. That is the support. And is a Vitalik, the important Vitalik, I don't know what is the name, but it's really important that HP don't go down on 19.7 for stocks.
On the other side, which are the rest of the stocks to watch this week?
But I'm interested to watch Bank of America. I prefer these stocks because for me is a representative stocks of American economics, and it's a stocks that Warren Buffett have always in portfolio and in the watch list. It's interesting because at this moment Bank of America go up at the second resistance at the 3 2.9 dollar for stocks. And if this resistance is important to observe this resistance, because if the stocks can create a good volatility and a good pattern volume, can go at the superior resistance at $3.5 for stocks.
And what about the energy sector? Let me just point out that today, actually, a few of the energy companies are at the bottom of S&P 500. What do you think about the energy sector?
Okay, the energy sector at this moment is not in a good appeal, because in this moment all S&P stocks are concentrated to create a go-up rally with a fintech company, with and computer company, with all company that create an interesting in games, computer or artificial intelligence. And in this moment, all energy company are not in the trader portfolio, because it's the finish of the year, and for this more banks or more institutional traders go out from this kind of stocks and prefer stocks that have a good volatility to create the peaks of benchmark of the portfolio. This is my personal opinion, but I think it's more interesting to observe energy, the energy index, because it's more important to observe the last rally from General Electric. General Electric is a big company, is focused on the energy, but use all financial instrument to create a grid credit or grid insurance in all the implementation that General Electric have. It's important to observe the stocks, because after to go up on the resistance on 9.50 stocks of dollar of stocks, General Electrics go up on overbought at the second and the third resistance, that is $11 for stock. It's more important to observe the next rally, because it's more probability that General Electric go up at $1-2 for stocks.
That's extremely interesting. General Electric has always been from a great interest for you. Thank you very much, Sante Pellegrino, CEO of SanteTrader.com. Thank you for joining us.
It's a really pleasure, and thank you too, and thank you to all people.